Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Johnny Bottles. I'm in an undisclosed location right now, broadcasting live right here on the internets. It's fantastical. To my left is Dr. Don Wayne, that guy right there. He's a neckbeard psychiatrist on Twitter. We are the Squared Circle Maniacs. Welcome to our pro wrestling podcast. It's just so much news to cover right now, Don. Let's get right into it.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry that you're in a hostage situation. Blink twice if you need help. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We had some difficulties last night. It is hard times right now in the Bottles household. He is making the best of what we got. But we did want to talk about this a little bit more because this is just taking over the world right now in terms of wrestling and how we can fix what's happening in the WWE. First and foremost, Johnny, did you see the news today where Slim Jim has pulled out of sponsoring the Royal Rumble?
You know, I watched an interview with Gunther done by the guys from Busted Open. And the great Tommy Dreamer, who looks like a beaten bag of potato chips that have been sitting on the store shelf for about 2 years too long. He looks terrible. And they were interviewing Gunther, and they had the Slim Jim product and the signage proudly displayed right in front on their desk. So I thought it was all a bunch of hooey. And then I went ahead and did a little digging on Twitter, and I saw it is correct. It is correct. They are out.
Colin wants you to blink twice if Vince is exposing himself to you right now.
Well, pal, Vince is in a undisclosed location also, somewhere in Stamford, Connecticut. Right now, he's talking to his little soldier, wondering what the hell happened. How did it all go wrong?
It's not just gone wrong. It's gone completely off the rails. And I guess I wanted to say this a little bit tonight. Look,
Go ahead.
we weren't there. We don't know what the hell is true and what's not true. These are all a bunch of filings in the legal system, right? They're going to have their day in court, or they're going to settle out of court or whatever. And everybody is willing to just pass judgment that weren't there. And that sort of drives me crazy that this is sort of what social media has created is, look, if he did it, he should burn in hell forever. I'm not saying he doesn't have a history of paying women off to have sex with him. That's there. He has a history of it. But we weren't there and we don't know. Like he came out, I don't know if you saw his response. This is exactly what it said. This lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and vindictive distortion of the truth. I will vigorously defend myself.
Well, what else did you expect from Vince McMahon? Did you expect anything less?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's sort of what I'm saying is there's two sides to every story. Now, I'm not saying that he's not some sort of a demented freak in the sheets. Clearly, he's got a history of paying people off to have sex with him. Like, there's a clear history for this right now.
Of course.
But again, I'd like for this to play out in court before this gets judged by everybody.
Exactly, because, just because someone said something on the internet or came forward and filed a lawsuit against somebody doesn't mean it's true. I'm sure there's a lot of basis in fact. I'm sure, I don't know, there's probably a lot of factual information in all this. If it's 100% factual, then the man is a psychopath.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. If it's completely real, it needs to burn in hell. I can't stress that enough.
Greg says there was a rape accusation a while ago. There was a rape accusation years ago. I'm talking in the early 80s.
Yeah.
He had a Rita Marie Chatterton as a lady referee, one of the very first lady referees in professional wrestling. And what happened with her was she was going for a ride with Vince in a limo with someone else. I forgot who else was there. But Vince tried to allegedly Vince tried to drop it in her, and she balked, and it was a big to-do, and he wound up settling with her out of court because she did
decades later. So
yes, before the statute of limitations expired. But just because someone on the internet says he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. That's why we have investigative organizations who will check these things out. We have a Department of Justice. We have a penal system for guys like this. I know Vince already has a penal system. This is a different kind of penal system.
Look, everybody's passing judgment. I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy, right? I've never met the guy. I don't know what he's like behind closed doors. All I can go is what's being released right now. So I don't want to cover it too much today, but there's a couple of things I want to point out about what needs to happen
Sure.
to the WWE to fix this shit.
Sure.
He needs to go.
Well, I did see those text messages, by the way.
Yes. And she did respond. Several of them she responded to him.
Yeah. Good Lord, dude. And you know what? It's very unnerving reading those things.
It really is. It really is.
I found they go down a little bit better if you read them in Vince's voice.
Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that tonight.
Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying if you read it in Vince's voice and you imagine how he looks now with the slick back Elvis Presley dyed hair and the Gomez Adams mustache. If you can visualize him doing all these things looking like that, it takes away from the horror of the gray wigged, big bags under his eyes.
Nope, not going there.
Greenish, white colored Vince McMahon from 2019.
If you haven't seen the text messages, don't read them. They are disturbing.
Horrendous.
It's insane what was being said back and forth. And the fact that she replied, so like I said, we weren't there, so I can't get into it. But what needs to happen? Vince McMahon has to go away. He has to leave for good now. You cannot keep this guy around anymore. How many more of these stories are going to pop up where he paid off somebody to have sex with him and then stay quiet about the affair that they had? It's killing the company. It's killing everything that they're trying to do. Nothing good has come from him coming back to this company other than the sell of WWE. That's the only thing good that happened while he came back. They got the company sold.
That's it. That's the only thing good.
And he's not in charge of anything anymore. He's a figurehead. It's gotten to the point where this dude is killing your company. So that's step one that I would do. And I don't know if you saw this or not. They actually removed his merchandise today from the WWE website, so you can't buy it anymore.
Yeah, Humble, we saw that Slim Jim took away their endorsement. Yeah, it's Slim Jim sponsorship dollars for tomorrow night. Now, it's not to say they'll go away forever. Not to say they won't come back.
But they're stepping away from this shit show right now, pal. Like, they're like, no.
Right.
This isn't good for anybody.
Right.
So we talked about that at the open. Thank you all again for joining us on this lovely Friday night. It is 75 degrees here in Central Virginia. I got my air conditioner on. We talk about a shit show and weather. That's the first thing they have to do, in my opinion, right? Is just cleanse themselves of this.
I knew, no, Larry, no more Hogan dildos.
All right.
Yes. Block Larry. I saw that they got another sponsor that's taking Slim Jim's place.
Nope, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Blue Chew.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Yes,
the new sponsor of the Royal Rumble.
Yes, thank you, Humble. Hit the likes and subscribe buttons. I appreciate it.
Hit the like.
That's the first thing I would do.
Can everybody hear me all right? We had a little problem with the audio last night. Can everybody hear me all right? Well, thanks.
I would not change the name from WWE. It's a worldwide name. Vince McMahon is the guy behind the scenes, and WWE is the wrestlers on your television. How it got there is different than what's going on behind the scenes, right? It just is. See, companies have bad CEOs all the time. They screw shit up. I mean, God knows. That's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do is we need to do something with the titles in that company that make them relevant again. They're just not showing up enough. The only one that we've seen for the past year or so is the Intercontinental title. The U.S. title has now officially disappeared and been kidnapped by a damn YouTube star. And don't get me wrong, he's a great YouTube star, and it's nice that this has happened, and he's put some relevance behind the title. But this isn't working for me as a wrestling fan on a long-term scale.
Right.
It's just not working. Roman Reigns appearing 4 times a year or 5 times a year, that doesn't work for me, Bottles. That doesn't work for me as a WWE fan, as a wrestling fan. There's got to be more emphasis on the titles. And quite frankly, I'm not saying that they got to change hands every month, but there needs to be a little bit more chaos behind these championship runs. They're too predictable right now, and I'll tell you what I mean. I'm not watching SmackDown tonight for that very reason. There is nothing on this show that compels me to say that I want to see this, because there's nothing in this show that's going to change what's going to happen this Saturday. It's already too predictable.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. They've got to. We talked about this privately and on the air. They're spinning their wheels right now. It's like they're just in a Twilight Zone until the pay-per-view. They don't know how to go from one pay-per-view to the next and build it up. Now, I think what they want to do is there are a lot of people who are coming back to the company that they want to get those chips, those pieces in place before they move forward with more advanced storylines. This is the build to WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble. I think they'll have a hot show Monday for Raw. I think the Royal Rumble will be a hot show, and then we'll take it from there and see how things go.
I am terrified of the Royal Rumble because it doesn't look like it's the only thing I'm looking forward to. We talked about it last night. Who are going to be the final four guys in the Rumble and who's going to be left standing? That's the only part of this show that's I think it's going to be Punk, Cody Rhodes,
James Ellsworth.
Get the hell out of here. God. I think it's going to be Punk, Brock, Gunther, and Cody. That's what I think.
Who are you to doubt James Ellsworth?
I'm doubting his ass for every time. Every time. So that's what I think. But other than that, Roman's not going to lose. Ron, you take that back right now. Telling me I'm going to watch Rampage instead. Nah, I don't think so, pal. I don't know.
Go ahead.
No, do you guys think the Rumble has become just another way to showcase mid-cards? It's not. To me, it's always, you're always going to get some spots, right? You're going to get the guy that eliminates the most in this Rumble. You're going to have a surprise entrant. That's always fun. That's what always makes this so much fun, is that they do give you the surprise entrance. They do give you surprises from time to time, and it's always great to see that. That's one aspect that's going to be great. Who's going to win the female Royal Rumble? That's also the other aspect. Roman Reigns isn't losing. Name one major title that's being defended that's going to get lost in this Royal Rumble. Name one.
You mean on the entire show?
Yeah.
U.S. title.
You think that one's going to flip?
I think that one's going to flip. And I think the ladies tag team championship is going to flip. Aren't they defending that belt?
I don't know, because they haven't made enough of a scene about it.
I think Chance and Carter are going to be facing the Kabuki Warriors for that title tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken.
That is literally like the 6-man tag team in AEW right now. There's a women's tag team.
You asked me about a belt, Don.
I know. But that's
don't need to get pissed off, Don. I'm just a guy out here in the backwoods looking for friends. That's all. Don't need to get pissed off, Don. I'm just sitting out here by the shed, wondering what my life's become. Okay? That's all. No need to get excited. You asked me a question. I gave you an honest answer, and I get shit on by you. I feel like Janelle Grant.
Well, you should. Undisputed Universal title, Roman Reigns. U.S. title, Kevin Owens. That's all I see right now. I don't see anything else.
No Kabuki Warriors?
I don't see anything.
Or is that tonight? Maybe that's tonight on SmackDown.
I'm looking, pal, and I don't see it. So, again, I don't care. I don't
LA Knight lost his Slim Jim money, pal.
I don't know if I don't know about that. I think it's just for the show, like we said. So those are a couple of things that I can think of the top of my head that need to change in the WWE immediately. The other thing, the brand separation, I get. Then why do we have a unified tag team title? Because they just don't care about tag teams in the WWE. They never have. Otherwise, we'd have.
They do now.
Shit.
They do with Triple H. I don't know why they just don't have one set defended. One set defended.
That's the part I don't understand. Why do we have a unified tag team title in the WWE? That it doesn't matter to me. There's no emphasis on it. There hasn't been a hot angle in a tag team in the WWE in eons. It's factions. The tag team division is almost completely forgotten. And yes, Gunther is in the Rumble.
Yes, he'll be facing off with everybody. That counts.
And we talked about this last night. Seth Rollins should not have the heavyweight title right now if he can't defend it at the Rumble.
You're exactly right.
This is one of your 4 big jewels. This is one of your 4 big shows. He should be defending this, and if he can't, sorry, pal.
Will he be there tomorrow night?
No, God no.
Just to make an appearance.
Larry, I couldn't have said it better myself than WWE. There are no more true tag teams. Just individual guys that get slapped together.
The last good tag team was Mankind and Chainsaw Charlie. That's all I
like the Usos. I did like the Usos. I thought they were great.
They were a good team. They were a good team.
And I know some people like All-American Headbanger says they shouldn't even have a heavyweight title. Look, I can't disagree with you on that. I mean, they have enough. They had a Universal and they had a SmackDown champion. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Then they made it the Universal Unified, whatever the hell it is. So those are just a couple of things that I see. What would you change, Bottles, in the WWE outside of that?
Outside of all that, besides everything you said?
Yeah.
There would be a guy that I would put the Raw title on as soon as possible. And that would be a man named Gunther.
You're all about this Gunther action.
That way, you just say, Gunther could say, well, I've already won this belt, the one that I really want, the one that means the most to me. This belt, you can leave it in the ring like Samoa Joe did with the ROH TV title. Leave it laying in the ring and let them have a tournament for it. You can have a tournament at an Elimination Chamber. If he would have won the belt last Monday Night at Raw. What should have
happened. That should have happened on Raw. That was such a great idea. Have that cash in, whack his knee with the damn briefcase, throw it over there. Here's my finisher. Go home. New heavyweight champion.
You're talking about Priest. You're talking about Priest.
Yeah, Priest. Yeah.
And then Priest could have fought Gunther. And Gunther could have taken the belt from Priest. I know it's heel versus heel. But he could have taken the belt from Priest, and he could be defending it at a big pay-per-view. That's what he could be doing.
But it said we got this nonsense that's going on right now. So those are some of my
outside of the biggest thing of all, getting rid of Vince McMahon.
Yes.
I thought for sure we were going to see a press release today by 5 or 6 o'clock at night in the evening saying that he's gone, he's done, he's out. Instead, Slim Jim is gone, done, and out. So take that for what it's worth, folks. They're going to keep that guy in there. He's going to go and they're going to drag him out of there. They're going to have to drag him out. The feds are going to have to drag him out of the building. To get him
Will
to go.
Smith says that we need to be in production meetings each week. It's not hard when stuff like this presents itself, though, in my opinion, if you've been watching wrestling long enough. This was an angle that presented itself to you as a fan that was too easy to see. That would have been one of the best storylines they could have had for the year. It might have been the storyline of the year if Priest comes out there, whacks him with the knee, get the hell out of here with the title. I'm your new heavyweight champion. And I would actually have him hold it until WrestleMania, to be quite honest, to where if Seth Rollins can come back, maybe you have a three-way, which I hate three-ways, or maybe you have an elimination tournament to see who is going to fight him, like they did at the old school, at the old WrestleMania, right?
Don, I heard three-ways are very popular in the WWE.
Oh, stop it, Johnny. Jesus.
Too soon?
Good Lord. I'm not going down
Too soon?
this. And speaking of the Royal Rumble, you seem to think Mickie James is going to be coming in here.
Yes. Yes. Her husband is the general manager of SmackDown. She's not contracted to TNA. She's contracted as a VP of talent for Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is one step above being a Walmart manager. So.
And you've already revealed last night, but we'll cover it again. We both think that Sasha Banks is going to show up for this WrestleMania. We both think it's going to happen. Of course.
But the question is, will she be Mercedes Moné Banks? Or will she just be Mercedes Moné? Or will she be Sasha Banks? That's the question.
I could care less what she is. I know you're a big fan of hers. I'm not. The one that I'm looking forward to that I keep seeing on a lot of people's radars, Mrs. CM Punk might be coming in here.
Yes.
I keep seeing that over and over again. I haven't seen her forever, and I forget her name. Was her name again?
AJ Lee.
AJ Lee, yes, sorry. She's been gone for a while, too.
Long time. What would have been perfect would be if Seth was healthy to work their way to the championship match at WrestleMania, as they had planned with Rollins and Punk, a mixed tag with Seth and Becky, because everyone knows they're married, of course, versus AJ Lee and CM Punk. That could have headlined a pay-per-view.
And it would have been great. It was a natural build. That's a natural story again.
It would have been amazing.
Hey, look, there you go, Will Smith. Exactly. Personal issues draw money. It's the oldest thing in wrestling. So we've talked about it now for a while. Those are just some of our ideas on how you better this product and how you make fans care again.
Mike, New Yorker for life. Let me ask you a question. You say the women's division has been better since Mercedes left. Why do you say that? Some people say that, and some people say it's been worse. I'm just curious as to.
I think it's been better, and I'll speak on it from my perspective. The woman that they have holding the title right now, the one that matters to me,
Rhea Ripley.
I think Rhea Ripley is the best wrestler I've ever seen on the female side. I think she's better than Charlotte Flair right now, quite frankly. I think she can cut a hell of a promo. Look, I do. I think she can cut a hell of a promo. There's not enough Rhea Ripleys in wrestling. There's just not. There's not enough of that. There's just not. There's too many 5'4" girls running around, hitting the ropes, and barely bouncing off of them. It's just not working for me, man.
Do you think Mandy Rose will be a surprise in the Women's Rumble? Or even Tessa Blanchard? Alexander Arce?
Hell no.
There. No Tessa Blanchard?
No. Tessa's never coming in this company. God, no, dude. You cannot have what's happening with Vince McMahon right now and bring that damn monster into this show. That's just bad press all day. There's no way.
Well,
do you think there's a surprise male entrant into the Royal Rumble?
yes.
And yes, Rhea is better than most of the men right now, and that's what sucks.
What's rumored right now is there's going to be a male superstar who used to be with the company who's going to return in the Royal Rumble. But they're not saying it.
Is it a one-off, do you think?
I'm not sure. All depends how he looks. If he can still go. And Baron Michael Cicluna, I salute you. He'll be in.
I will be curious to see how this goes down. Anyway, that's just some ideas.
Everything can be done.
Huh?
But anyway, let me finish what I was saying as to how to change things in the WWE.
Okay. All right.
Get rid of Vince. Make Raw 2 hours. If you can't make Raw 2 hours, if they're going to make it 3, they're going to keep it at 3 hours, then have it flow better. Have it flow better. Have more matches. Have it flow better. If there's no commercials on Netflix, please don't have so many goddamn recaps. That's what kills Raw. The commercials and the recaps. Don't have it be so many recaps as to what happened 15 minutes ago, in most cases 5 minutes ago. Keep on rolling, baby. Keep on trucking. And my 2-hour Raws would be fantastic. And there's a rumor going around that MJF, Ron, might be a surprise.
Not a chance.
Not sure.
Not a chance in hell. Not a chance.
I don't think he signed. You think he re-signed with AEW? I think he did not.
I completely believe that. I have heard some rumblings. It's not about Sammy Hammerstone or anybody else like that. What I've heard is shit. What are
hang on a second. Did Hammerstone sign with TNA, or was that just a one-off appearance at that pay-per-view?
I don't know. But the name I keep hearing is one of the one of the Samoan boys is looking to come in here now. It looks like he's going to come in. Yes, Jacob
Fatu's looking to come in, and Tama Tonga has finished up. Haku's son has finished up with New Japan. So you might see either one of those two guys in.
Colin wants to know, what do you think happens to Raw in that little span that they got a little lapse in? I honestly think they're going to stay on. Yeah, I think they're going to be on Peacock or they're going to be on USA Network. And yes, I saw this today earlier. Booker T is the one going after
Jacob Fatu.
Yes, he's going after him hard. So you got the other ideas. And yes, I would absolutely retire both belts in the tag team. I'd get rid of that shit and just have one champion. Oh, and by the way, I'd make the titles look like they mean something. Not look like it came off of a goddamn condom box.
Trojan man.
That's what I think every time I see those belts. Well, somebody's getting effed. Now we know why Vince McMahon redesigned him that way. He's a freak.
Hey, honey, let's do it. Hang on a second, honey. Let me put my belt on.
That's exactly why those belts look like that, because he was looking at that Trojan box every day for like the 60-pack. Just ripping through rubbers.
He probably defiled one of those tag belts before he passed them on to the talent. He probably did.
Is there anything else you would do to better this product in the WWE?
I'll tell you what I would do, Don. I would bring Kevin Patrick back. Kevin Patrick was a stand-up guy. He couldn't help it that nobody could understand a word he was saying.
Dude,
and he's always running out of breath.
Serious.
Just bring the man back.
Be serious. But you just hit on something that's actually really good. They need to find somebody that could call the damn shows other than the same voice we've had for almost 30 years.
Dude, they've got one. They've got Vic Joseph down at NXT. And he got demoted back to NXT because he couldn't stand being screamed at by Vince on the earpiece, on the headset.
Get over it.
So he got back. I remember when Bischoff was running SmackDown as an actual general manager, actually was the booker and general manager of SmackDown. And Paul Heyman was the guy who was the booker and general manager of Raw for a brief period. Vic Joseph was the color commentator, not the color commentator, the play-by-play man for Raw. And he couldn't take being screamed at by Vince McMahon. And then Vince McMahon came in and took over everything again, both shows. He fired Bischoff, he demoted Heyman, and launched Vic on a rocket back down to NXT. Bring Vic up. And I would take Byron Saxton and put Byron Saxton down with Booker T and have him be the play-by-play guy on NXT. He's been in the company for how many years? 20 years?
Alex said they should get Tony Schiavone. I would slit my wrists. And I'm ready to start talking about AEW as soon as you are.
Otis!
Okay. Again, who do you think wins the Royal Rumble and why? I think it's CM Punk. I think it's CM Punk.
What's good for business?
CM Punk is good for business, and it makes sense.
I think it's CM Punk also, and because Cody Rhodes won it last year. I think, like I said last week, Cody wins the Elimination Chamber. That's what I think happens.
That's what I think happens too. So we're on the same page. All right.
Yes.
We need to move on to AEW because there's so much to fix in this company.
AEW, a organization that could not sell out a 5,000-seat arena the other night. They could barely sell 2,000 tickets to that shit fest they had on Wednesday night, which was absolutely insane. Have you seen the quarter hours?
Yeah.
How it just took a nosedive.
It just kept dropping.
There were no
once
peaks
it got down to like that 750, 725, it just stayed right there the rest of the night.
Edge and Minoru Suzuki may be somebody's wet dream of a dream match. I'll call it a wet dream match from now on instead of just a dream match, because only Tony Khan wanted to see that. No one else wanted to see that shit fest. Generally, you put Suzuki went early in the show, 9 o'clock hour, and get it over with. But it was horrible.
Larry says if we're going to try to fix AEW, we're going to be here until the Super Bowl kicks off. I'm just going to cover some high points.
Just some high points. I would tell Tony, I would have somebody like Shad Khan or somebody grab Tony Khan and say, look, you need to sit this one out. Do the business decisions. Let someone else write the shows.
First thing that needs to be done.
You got a match you want to see? Oh, hang on a second. All-American Headbanger. Looking forward to Serena Deeb coming back. One of the greatest women's wrestlers in the world, Serena Deeb. She had some medical problems. She's been gone for a year. Or actually longer than that. Her last match was in 2022. Okay. But I know you have no idea who that is.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, I got no fucks.
You're looking for somebody who gives a shit? Is what you're looking for? How long have we been doing this show? I actually know all your goddamn mannerisms now.
Yeah, good. You should. This is the go the fuck away heat right there, buddy. That's what most women's wrestling has with me right now. Go away. I don't want to see most of it.
I absolutely love women's wrestling, and not because I
can look at you. I can look at you. You have that look about you.
No. I'm going to make a serious point. I love women's wrestling now because a lot of the women's wrestling, they take chances. They lay it in. Some of them are stiffer than the men in terms of making it look good. And Block Larry's laughing his ass off. What do you
look? The AEW.
Can somebody block Larry, please?
The one thing I would
reblock Larry.
The one thing I would do out the gate is what you said. Bring in some actual people that can book a wrestling show and know how it's supposed to work.
You've got to, but you've got people there.
No, they do, but they're not using them.
They're not using it.
I would also
pick Arn Anderson's brain. Jake Roberts, pick his brain. I know you don't like Jake Roberts, but he could tell people how to do a promo. He could tell people how to get over with a promo with their words. Look at guys like Garcia, Menard, all these guys that they bring in that bring no value to anything whatsoever. Wheeler Yuta. Somebody teach these kids how to talk.
That's what you're getting
to know everything.
You're getting another point. They need to bring in some writers to help these kids out that do not have the gift for gab. They need someone out there to help them run down bullet points. And I'm not asking for a completely vanilla show like WWE gives us all too often anymore with the scripted horse shit that sounds it's going to bore you to death. Because there's no real animated voice movements up and down. No one seems like they really give a shit.
Nothing.
It needs to feel like violence could break out at any moment. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes Monday night felt like violence could happen at any moment. There was an animosity and a dual respect at the same time because they're both faces. This is what I'm talking about. In AEW, too often, it sounds like child's play. It looks like a bad comedy. It looks like a bad acting class in the 7th grade. The Young Bucks backstage Wednesday night was the most childish thing I have seen in a long time.
What did you expect?
Stupid.
What did you expect?
I didn't expect much, but somebody tell them this is not a good look for our brand. The other thing I would do, and this would go for both companies, stop having it to where they are clearly performing in front of a camera and they're supposed to be having secret meetings backstage. Right? It's terrible. It's terrible that they keep doing this, and they do it in the WWE as well. There's one thing that TNA did a long time ago that was so awesome. The cameraman was like filming between the cracks and doors to what was supposed to be a conversation you weren't supposed to be hearing. They did that aspect right. When the Four Horsemen in WCW and the NWA back in the day, when they were having a meeting, they'd all pal around together. They said, "Get the hell out of here, camera guy." And you felt like they were up to no good. None of this exists in either WCW.
Hang on a second.
What?
I got to turn my volume down on my speaker. The neighbors think somebody's having a nervous breakdown in my backyard.
This is the problem in WWE and AEW.
Where's all this venom? Where's all this venom?
Well, I'm telling you, those are two things I would do out the gate in AEW to fix this shit because it's goddamn terrible. There's no real, oh shit, something could break loose. It's okay. Who's going to be the next guy to come out here and give me a bad 7th grade performance?
I would make a deal with Daly's Place and say, like we did in the pandemic, can we please rent 2 months in Daly's Place? Sell the tickets, try to get the attendance up, write some good shows. Then when Daly's Place starts to get packed, when people are lined up outside to get into Daly's Place to see if they can get tickets, okay, we got something. Let's expand it a little bit of a bigger venue, 3,000, 4,000 seater. Let's do that. You crush up some Ashburn, Don. Jesus,
you're saying something. See, we're on the same wavelength there. I wouldn't rent out Daly's Place. No, but let me just chime in with what you said there. I wouldn't rent out Daly's Place over and over again. But what I would do, I would rent out buildings like that size that hold maybe 5,000 people and try to pack it and do some PR in that
5,000 people. I think Daly's Place holds 2,200.
All right, whatever it holds, something along those lines, so that when it's on TV, it doesn't look like a shit show carnival. It doesn't look like a bad
the other night
Chester or a bad damn fair in your local county.
The other night, the entire hard camera side was empty, and everybody was on the floor. They couldn't shoot the risers where everything's elevated. Where the seats start to elevate. They couldn't shoot that. When the guys came,
it was dark. It was so dark.
They had a shot of the ramp. When a guy came out, he went to the ring, and they cut to the ceiling. They had a shot of the ceiling. They slowly panned down back to the screen in the back of the ramp, and then they cut to a floor cam where the guy's already in the ring, and that's how they did it to cover up the lack of people in the elevated seats. AEW equals clown school. I can't wait to see the 18,000 seat place with 1,800 fans. Good luck hiding that. Colin, you can't do an 18,000 seat place with this company. You just cannot do it. They need to accept the fact that they're not going to do it with the weekly TV show. Now, everyone said, oh, they sold 15,000 tickets in Savannah, Georgia, wherever they're having Revolution.
Greenville, North Carolina.
In March. Huh?
I think it's Greenville, North Carolina.
Greenville, North Carolina, whatever. Revolution. Down south, where Sting used to wrestle all the time, his final match, if it's really his final match.
Again, which is that shit. Stand by what you say. If it's his last match, it's his last match.
They shot the promo the other night on Dynamite, where he talked about Darby Allin, if they want to make a run for the tag belts, the tag team titles. And Darby Allin said, you still got it. like I told you that day in your garage,
Yeah.
where you had the ring set up, you still got it.
And then the fans chime in.
And in the back of the backdrop of Sting was a promo piece for All In London. And he says, okay, I'm all in. Now, does that mean he's going to have the match in Greenville and that's going to be his final match? Or is he going to have another match at All In maybe? Who knows? Will he pull Ric Flair and retire here and then come back for a final match? Who knows?
Yeah, but again,
and by the way, where was Flair? Where was Flair?
Yeah, well, he can come out of the closet now. He's definitely not the man on the hot seat. So what else would you do to fix AEW? But wait, let me give you one of mine because you were leading this off, so I want to leave this one off. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show. Kill Ring of Honor. Kill it. Shoot it in the head.
Get rid of it.
Sorry, yes, it's in Greensboro, not Greenville. Greensboro, North Carolina. Kill Ring of Honor. Kill it.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah.
I mean, I'd kill it.
Get rid of it.
Just get rid of it. None of it matters. Not a damn thing they do with those belts matter. It's a dead brand. If you don't have it on TV, yes, you can sell it. You have a television title for a company that doesn't have a television show. Let that sink in.
Right. Right. You can still own the trademark and just shutter the website, close it down for right now, get rid of the titles, put them on ice, bring those guys who are worth something into AEW. But we're overlooking one thing, Don, and we really are ignoring. We're checking out storylines. We're talking about booking the show. The biggest problem they have is too many people.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm okay. I don't give a shit who he hires. Right? Like,
the people that are not ready for prime time. The people that are not ready for prime time television. And I'm looking right at you, JD Drake. A-cups. Jesus God almighty. Get rid of those guys. The workhorsemen are horrendous. Launch them. AR Fox, I know he's got a lot of friends over there. He's not doing anything. Get rid of him. Who else can we get rid of?
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys. There's just a lot of guys. Get rid of them.
Why have these guys devalue themselves and be jobbers? Just get rid of them.
Well, you need jobbers somewhere.
You do need jobbers somewhere.
But
they can have 10 on tap.
You did make a point, though.
They don't need 201 people on their talent roster, Don. They don't need that. 201 people. How many people do you need? How many active wrestlers do you need to run a 2-hour TV show? Do you think in your mind? People out there in the chat room, how many do you think you need?
I would say at least 100. At least 100.
For a 2-hour TV show, 100
They
people.
have 3 shows, Johnny, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. Get rid of one of those shows at least. Get rid of at least one of those shows. Because the Friday night show is god-awful. It's going nowhere, and it's not going to help you out at all. If you want to have it, you can have a Saturday show. Don't put it on at 8 o'clock. Make it like that 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock time. I'd probably do 6, and you'd probably do better numbers at 6 o'clock.
You could have, like we've always said in the past, Don, you could put an hour of Big Bang Theory reruns on Friday nights at 10.
Yeah. And
draw a higher rating than Rampage does. Plus, it's not new content. They already own it.
There it is. There it is. 6:05. Bring it back.
6:05. They could do that.
You will get. There is something to be said about nostalgia when you put that out there. I would tune in just to see what the hell is going to happen. We talked about this months ago. When AEW started having the Saturday night show, we were both locked in. It was a quality show. It felt like a wrestling show we both wanted to watch.
Why is that?
It kicked it off every night with a personal angle. Hey, you fucked me over last week, and I'm going to come get you. Hey, we don't like you. You're a piece of shit. We're going to show you why tonight we beat your ass. Welcome to the show. And it was, here we go. And guess what else they had? They had commentators that made you care about the show, that sounded professional and weren't screaming, suicide, Topacita, jumping jack flash over the top rope. Holy shit.
That is another thing I wanted to mention that I would do. I would get rid of Excalibur. Or I would tell him, dude, you got to dial this back, and you're coming on camera with no mask. You could be Mike Jones, the new voice of AEW, but you're not going to call all these funky wrestling moves and all this other. freaking horse shit, and you're not going to be the Micro Machine Man talking a mile a minute and we're just rambling things off. It's just ridiculous. You need to
Kevin
stop.
Kelly is a good commentator, is he not?
Kevin Kelly's fantastic. He's the voice of New Japan, or he used to be, with Josh Barnett. I haven't seen that show in a couple of years. I don't know if he's still doing it or not.
Why is
But
he
I would
not
make
on
Kevin
this
Kelly.
one? He's the guy.
I would make. Kevin Kelly is the play-by-play. He's the color guy with Shivani. Shivani's the play-by-play guy on Collision. I would get rid of Shivani and say, Tony, it's been a good run. We need you in talent relations. See you later. Jim Ross, you're gone. You're done. Go to WWE, or we can have you in talent relations also. Christopher Daniels, talent relations. I'll see you later, buddy. See if you get a job at MLW. You're out the door. You can't have this be all friends wrestling like it started out. You can't have this be favor jobs like the mafia. A job where, you're getting paid and you don't really have to come in and do anything. You can't have that.
This is what they do, though.
They need a talent meeting and say, look, we have agents here. They're going to tell you how you're going to run your match. No crazy spots where you're going to kill yourself. If you're in a pay-per-view coming up in 2 weeks, you're not going to go and take buckle bombs or power bombs on an apron. You're not going to do a Death Valley driver on the ring apron. You're not going to do any of this crazy bullshit. I need you healthy for the pay-per-view match. You go to a pay-per-view match, you want to do it then, it's for a belt, make it mean something. Do a Death Valley driver on the ring apron or whatever crazy move you want to do.
You mentioned that.
Ridiculous.
So Darby Allin has got charisma.
Oh, for God's sake.
But he's got charisma. He's got charisma.
So
And
do that.
I think he does. So
Evil Knievel had charisma too. While
and
he's
I love
flying
that
over
goddamn
handlebars.
guy. I'd watch him
going
jump
over
the
his
goddamn
handlebars.
Grand Canyon right now. I'd watch him do it right now.
It was the Snake River Canyon, by the way, not the Grand Canyon.
I don't give a shit if it was my backyard canyon. I want to watch that dude do some bad stuff.
What the hell?
Look, they got guys that have charisma, but they cannot be doing this nonsense every Wednesday night to have a match.
You can't. You need. I would pair each
You
show
need
down.
an adult in the room.
I would trim the roster down to 80 people. 80 people.
So that's what else.
That's what I would do.
You know what else I would do?
The women that come on TV and stumble over each other and bubble around the ring like blinded baby deer, newborn calves, and just stumbling around like Red Velvet. I'm looking at you. You're horrible. Red Velvet's terrible.
I didn't mind her.
Kira Hogan is terrible. Who else is bad? Sky Blue. Beautiful girl. She could barely get by in the ring.
Okay. So,
Everything's in slow motion. And I'll say the same thing about WWE women. Liv Morgan, beautiful girl. Everything's in slow motion. It really is.
Carter,
Chance.
Okay, you're gonna hate me for this. I would kill the women's division in AEW. I'd kill it. I'd completely destroy it.
That's a wrong move.
No, they don't have enough to have a very good show. There's like 5 women in that company that can wrestle. You're going to keep an entire division for 5 women that can wrestle?
I would say that.
Kill it. Kill it. It just doesn't have a moment on this TV show. If you want to have a separate show, for them, do that and put it on a Friday night. But I would kill it right now because right now they don't have enough good women wrestling. They just don't have it. Name more than 5 women on that roster that can actually wrestle. If they were to go to the WWE tomorrow, how many would make the cut?
I'm going to name them right now. Serena Deeb, Toni Storm, Snooki Perazzo, despite what I feel about her, she can wrestle. She can't cut a promo, but she can wrestle.
Again, you have to cut a promo in the WWE.
Rosa,
you have to cut a promo. No, I'm not taking Jamie Hayter.
Why?
No.
One of the best female wrestlers in the world.
In your opinion.
She's hurt right now.
It's okay. Again, why am I going to bring over a hurt chick?
Jesus Christ.
You name 5. Keep going. Here we go.
I would keep Baker to do jobs and cut promos.
She's one of the ones I actually think could make it to the WWE. I think she could. Now, she might set the locker room on fire and cover the wall in feces, but I think she can make it.
Why is it going to be feces in the WWE? Oh, I get it. I get it.
Is Jade ready for a pay-per-view appearance? Oh, you're going to see her, pal. You're going to see
You're
her
going to see her tomorrow night, pal. I guarantee you'll see her tomorrow night.
She's going to be in this bitch tomorrow night.
You don't have to be the female Lou Thez to play around in a Royal Rumble match. All you got to do is beat people up, punch, kick, suplex, throw somebody over the top rope. That's all you need to do.
Hey, by the way,
clothesline.
Not to bring up old shows, but I believe when she first came over here, I said this would be her debut. Did I not?
You did.
And it made the most sense because you're not going to put her in a singles match to expose her until she's ready. And she has been working her ass off.
We're not sure yet, Don. Let's not start sucking each other's dicks just yet. Okay?
She's going to be there, dude. This is going to happen. The Women's Royal Rumble is probably going to have more surprises than the men's, to be quite honest. I mean, that's just.
Oh, you could be right, Don.
That's just it. What
the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be? It's going to be hot. I'm just talking about with speculation and conjecture. Who's going to be there? Big surprises, that sort of thing. I think that let's see, who could probably come back? Mandy Rose, maybe.
Well, hold on,
bring her back.
I hear it, but we're still trying to improve AEW. That was just a quick question. So
you just had me divert.
You're going to
divert my attention.
Here we go, squirrel. I would also eliminate the 6-man tag title. That thing sucks. It serves no purpose.
They're just trying to get people on TV, Don, because they got too many people. That's the purpose of those freaking titles.
See,
I'm saying though, if you have less people in the roster, 65 is a good amount. Someone said that's perfect. 65 be fantastic. 50 guys, 15 women, and get rid of the 6-man titles. You don't need them. The trios titles.
And this is just off the top of our head. This wasn't thought out. This wasn't some crazy ass well-laid plan. This is just shit we see every week that you can make this better.
Right.
Like I said, I would also have Tony Schiavone backstage doing interviews. That's where he's best at. That's what he was best at when he was in WCW, was interviewing the talent. He can still do that, but he doesn't need to be on my TV doing play-by-play.
It doesn't do you any good to interview the talent when all you got to do is mention their names and they take the microphone out of your hand.
That's what I mean, though. They got to stop that. Control. Can you imagine they try to take the microphone out of Mean Gene Okerlund's hand? He'd have smacked the shit out of you.
He would start swinging. He'd start throwing hands. Mean Gene's probably got about 2 pints of Smirnoff in him when he's doing those interviews backstage. So you don't want to fool with Mean Gene.
By the way, if you have never checked out the Mean Gene clips on YouTube, where they're the outtakes of Mean Gene, it's some of the funniest shit you'll ever see in your life. It is absolutely hilarious.
Look up the ones that made the air with Mean Gene and the Iron Sheik. They're fantastic.
They are absolutely hilarious.
Amazing.
To this day, one of my favorite deals he did ever was live after Hogan turned heel. Don't touch me, pal. I've got lawyers. It was goddamn great. And you're right, Larry. He would burn your ass with a cigarette in a minute. Anyway,
I told you. Did I tell you that Mean Gene story when I met him?
Yes, you did. We talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
He was the guy. So, is there anything else?
Yes, he said, there's Mr. Perfect. He owes me $20. I'll be right back.
That's not what
he just walked away. He's at a table in a nightclub with all the Nitro girls around him.
Yes, I know.
5 martinis deep.
We talked about this literally a couple shows ago, buddy.
I'm shaking my camera, Don.
All right, calm down there, Killer.
What else would you do to make?
You want to know something else I would do, by the way?
What's that?
To make this company better.
Which company?
The AEW shows.
Go ahead.
All right, they're signing these ex-WWE guys, right?
Right.
And they're faces as soon as they come out, right? Edge is a face immediately as soon as he comes out. Christian was a face as soon as he came out.
Right.
Why aren't you using that natural animosity that the AEW fans have towards WWE to just have them come out there and immediately shit on their new surroundings?
There is imaginary hatred. There's imaginary hatred, Don. There's a small core cadre of elite freaks on internets,
the
websites
830,000 people. Okay.
That hate WWE.
There's 700,000. There's 700,000 people that watch a show every week that hate the WWE, right? That's their core audience.
Right. But when they magically come in to AEW, they're hailed as conquering heroes. And that just goes to show that they don't hate WWE. They love those.
Just hear me out.
Those stars.
Hear me out. There is a natural animosity there, is my point. Ed should have come out his first night and come in here and said, so this is AEW.
It's a shithole.
Where's your world title? Because I'm about to own it. And just left.
Right. Why is this whole side of the arena empty? Why is this whole side over there empty? I would have said that. He
could have done all kinds of shit instead.
Own it.
On this day, I'm looking at nobody over here. Shit, don't do that again.
Own it. I would have grabbed the cameraman and turned the camera around to show.
This is my
look, you guys are doing so well. You need me here. You're doing so well. This whole side of the arena is empty.
See, it's just that easy. You can make them heels immediately because they're ex-WWE guys. So that's just a couple of my ideas that I would have done. I don't want to dwell on it forever because, like Larry said, we could be here until the goddamn Super Bowl kicks off. There is some news if you want to get to it. A little bit, not much.
Go ahead, Don. I'm all ears.
The big one coming out is Finn Balor's contract is out and up at the end of the year.
Right, at the end of the year. What about McIntyre? McIntyre's is up in like in a month or two.
I still don't buy that shit at all. I think he's re-signed, to be quite honest.
Well, what they said with Endeavor, when Endeavor formed TKO Sports with WWE, they said that Endeavor as a parent company approaches their contract re-signings differently, more so than what WWE does. WWE does it, they start talking about re-signing 6 months before your contract expires. Endeavor with the UFC guys, they wait till like a month before it expires. Then they hash things out. And they think the added pressure will get somebody to re-sign right away.
Okay.
And they're doing the same thing now with WWE guys.
I don't know. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I'm not a big guy. I'm not big on Finn Balor. I'm not his biggest fan.
I don't see the attraction either.
But
I don't see it.
And here's my thing. He would be a big get for AEW. He would fit right into that class. He really would.
And then he would disappear after a month.
Well, probably, yes. But he would be a natural fit to that company. He's a smallish guy. He'd fit right in. He could put the matches on that he wants to have. He wouldn't have to sell nearly as much as he does. I don't see him leaving as a big loss, quite frankly. And I don't know how you feel about it, but that's just my thoughts on this.
He's made more money in the WWE, not even being a headlining star. He's made more money there than he's ever made in his entire life. He's not going anywhere.
You think he's going to stay no matter what?
I think he's going to stay no matter what.
Do you think he would take less money to stay?
No. Do I think he would take the same money to stay? Possibly.
Okay. All right. See, you're being.
They're coming out with these big contracts, Don. They come out with these big contracts. It's all announced publicly, so you figure, hey, I want a little piece of that. And they're going to ask for more money. Why wouldn't they? And then what do you see after that? When 4 or 5 big stars, when their contracts start to expire and they get re-signed for a little bit more money than what they made before, you see guys like, well, they're not there anymore. Guys like Elias, Riddick Moss, Emma get cut because they're picking up people with higher salaries. It's just business.
You know, I find it ironic, though, that Elias did not go to AEW. I find that like really ironic because if he had have gone there, look, I liked Elias in the WWE. Mm-hmm. I thought they didn't know what the hell they were doing. That Vince McMahon horse shit where he was somebody else when he shaved his beard was probably the worst goddamn gimmick I've seen in 3 years. It was terrible.
But that got him the most attention.
What got him the attention was Who Wants to Walk with Elias. That was great. I enjoyed those segments. I enjoyed those. But Vince McMahon was just like, look at him. I don't get it. What the hell is he? Why are you in under my desk? Why is he still doing this?
Well, you know, when he did when he changed his gear and wore conventional wrestling gear like Vince wanted him to, he looked too much like Randy Savage.
Yes,
so
he
Vince
did.
Said,
I thought the same thing.
Tell him to get rid of that beard, pal. And he shaved the beard off. And you got what you got.
Well, I'm glad to see
fun times with Photoshop. Remember those family pictures?
Jesus, dude. Did you see that the AEW crowd is excited that they're bringing back the rankings?
Good Lord.
They're bringing back the rankings, the AEW, pal. It's a big deal, and they're excited about it.
I feel like that when McDonald's brings back the McRib. It's great.
People are still eating that shit?
That's good, Don. Yeah, the rankings are good, Don.
That I'm just telling
That's
you what's
good.
happening, dude. That's all I got.
Jesus Christ, they're so easily amused. These fucking people. They're so easily amused in their parents' basement. Good Lord Almighty.
That's all the news I got tonight, Bottles. It is
Half
Friday.
of
I
them
want to
can't spell rankings.
thank you all for joining. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Saw 7 of you have joined this week. We really appreciate you on the show. Bottles, that's all I
And
got tonight.
I like to say, the reason why we had audio problems yesterday, and the reason why I'm out here in the boondocks, and on Tuesday's show I was out in the median strip, is because I've got my son and his fiance and my 10-month-old granddaughter who came down from Maryland to spend some time down here with Granny and Pop, and I'm Pop, of course, and my studio where I usually do all my podcasting and all that is the spare bedroom that we have in our house.
Where you release your anger.
Where I release my anger and vitriol and hatred. That room is taken up with love and good feelings down with the kids staying in there with my granddaughter. And she's sleeping in there right now. I'm outside because she was screaming her head off earlier. The kids went out. They're having a little, adult time, parent time away from the baby. And Amy's inside taking care of her. And Pop's out here doing his podcast. So that's why we had some audio problems yesterday. That's why I'm out here in the boondocks. Next time you see us, everything will be back to normal.
I will say this. Well, don't say that because if there is a surprise or 3 that we feel like we need to talk about tomorrow night after the Royal Rumble, keep your eyes peeled. There might be an emergency show if something really off the wall happens, like we did with CM Punk when he showed up at Survivor Series. We said if he shows up, we're going live, pal. So if something dramatic happens tomorrow night, keep your eye on YouTube, folks. We love you. Thanks for watching. Got anything else?
You know who might show up at Royal Rumble tomorrow night?
Until next week,
I got my finger in
so long from the sunshine.